We're going to start with the feet. And I want to start with something called micro movements. It's like watching paint dry. So it's not for someone to watch. It's for you to experience. You can close your eyes, you can keep them open. Closing our eyes takes us inward, so it just helps us feel a little bit more. But you can do either. And let's start with the right foot. And I just want you to make the smallest movements possible. It's like you're just doing these little shifts. So the image that I like to give is of a beautiful sea plant. And it is living in a tide pool. So shallow, warm water. And there are little currents because of the waves kind of moving in and out. But by the time they've reached this little plant that is your foot, it's this suggestion of movement in the water. And this little plant, your foot, responds. Just a little movement. Where that movement starts from is totally up to you. And then that little movement, wherever it is, creates this little ripple effect so that the movement flows somewhere else, and then somewhere else, and then somewhere else. If you are not used to practicing sensory practices, this might feel confusing or really foreign or weird. But the more you practice, the more you're going to be able to feel yourself. Let's try that on the other foot. Or maybe actually, let's just stop a minute and let's appreciate how your foot that you moved feels compared to the one you didn't. And if there's no difference, it's so okay too. And then let's go to the other one. These little micro movements. This little sea plant, its leaves flowing out into the water. It's deeply rooted, it's not going to float away. But this responsiveness, you're not thinking about where you're going to move, you're not planning it. Maybe you're simply using your imagination at this point. It's kind of fun to be a sea plant away from our busy lives and all of our titles and our labels and our responsibilities. We could just leave all that over there and just be this beautiful, sweet little sea plant. Just being itself in this tide pool. Warm water, responding to these gentle little rhythms, and that one movement just reverberates through. So very fluid. We're not working our muscles or bones or joints, just enjoying some movement. And then just let that go. I invite you to feel your feet on the earth. Now, let's move into ankles, which is also going to move us into the feet. So this practice might grow in its form, in its structure as we go along. So we can move the feet out so that we can lift the bottom of the foot up. And let's go to the right foot. So you're just going to lift and lower. And just noticing, how are you moving your foot? we're told this is a hinge, right? So maybe that's how that foot's lifting. I know my foot goes up and it goes down. But what if I told you your foot has 26 bones, 32 joints, over 100 muscles and ligaments, connections? Could we wave the foot up and then wave the foot down? So there's a lot more movement in our foot than we might know. Oh. And then let's try that on the other foot. Let's do the hinge, where we just lift and lower. It's really muscular. And then what if we were to wave up and wave down? What's happening for your foot? Are you getting a little bit more range of motion? Does it feel softer? Does it feel a little bit easier? Does it feel harder? So again, there's no right or wrong answer. I am just guiding you through this. Your experience of this is going to be really different than mine. I don't want you to have my experience. I want you to have your experience. What if we do both at the same time? So this could be interesting because maybe there's a foot that likes to come up before the other. So just noticing as you roll away from the earth, are they rolling the same? Is one getting there before the other? So again, not trying to change anything yet, just noticing. Because that's sensory awareness. That's a sensory experience to notice that one of my feet makes it down before the other. Now that we know that, then we can move into, can they come up together like a little team and back down together? So now I'm having a different sensory experience. Now I've got a choice. Let's do one more. And just take a little pause. I think that's going to be the end of this practice. I'm going to do another video and we'll continue this. But I think this is enough for now. It's a lot of food, isn't it? I hope you had fun being a lovely little sea plant. Thanks for joining me.